Welcome to my painting process, more accurately, my lack of painting process, where I'm going to start out by putting some paint on the canvas. And as you can tell, I have some weird background of a canvas that I found that I put this paint on. I'm not really sure what I was going for there, but we're just going to cover it up, so it really doesn't matter. And we're covering up this canvas with the blocking in of a girl with half of her face covered by a turtleneck. Let's see at what point in the painting you can actually tell when I'm painting. Anywho, we're starting by blocking some things in, like the shadow of the bridge of the nose and above the eyes and some hair. Bangs to start out with. I love a good bang. I used to have some homemade bangs, and you know what? I miss them every day. Anyways, back to the painting process. I am using 3 main colors in white. So I'm using like a reddy color, a yellowy color, and a blue color, and then white. And that's what I'm going to use basically for the entire painting because I like it to feel cohesive. I don't want a lot of options, and I certainly don't want to have to get out more paint. So for the shadowy part, I'm using blue, which is my darkest value color, or I'm mixing the blue with the red to make a little bit of like a purpley color. And for the face, I'm using a little bit of yellow, white, red, and a little bit of blue, which is going to mute the skin color, which makes it more realistic. But what you're seeing here is just the first layer of me going, hey, where do the eyes go? Where do the eyebrows go? And does she have bangs? Obviously, that wasn't really much of a question because the answer was always yes. It's the strongest impulse I have to add bangs to every portrait I do. Anywho, so this is just the first layer. I also need to start blocking in this red turtleneck, see how wide it needs to be, and to see how long it needs to be, and to see if I can add any fun shadows to cause some cool wrinkles to make it look like it's really scrunchy bunchy. Also at this point, I'm starting to think, red turtleneck on top of a pink-purple background. Not my greatest creative decision. But it really doesn't matter because this is paint. And I can paint over it 1,000 times. Nothing is really settled. There are no such things. Oh, what would Bob Ross say? He would say there's no such things as mistakes, only happy accidents. And that's what we're going to go with. Because no matter what, we can fix it with more paint. And that is one of the reasons that I like using acrylic paint, because I just can fix all of my mistakes. And then we can pretend I never made any. Woohoo, woohoo. Anywho, back to the process. Laying in some eyeballs. And boy, can I say, I'm doing this really loosely. So far, I'm doing everything very loosely / choppily and painterly. I'm going to use the word painterly, like I'm a painter. And I'm liking it so far. Okay, let's add some more fun to the turtleneck, because so far it's just looking like a long blob of red, which, is great sometimes. But today, we're pushing the limits of wrinkles and shadows. I am really determined at this point to make sure that this really looks like a turtleneck and not just a blob of red in front of her face that's unidentifiable. Alright, now we're going to add a little bit more white to the eyes. And by white, I mean this is actually a really light blue color. So I mixed a little bit of blue in the white. Because your eyes, are they ever really that white? They should have some color. They're not really that white, right? Like, go look at your friend's eyes. Just find the closest person to you and just stare deeply into their eyes and be like, is that white? Or is that like gray white, blue white? Anyways, so we're going back to the skin because it's a little bit more reddy yellowy and I want it to be a little bit more pinky. You know what I mean? Anyways, this is going to be the second layer. I'm going to go in a third time though with the face. So it's fine. It's fine. We're fixing it one layer at a time. Also, let's take note at how I'm fixing the fact that I made the face a little bit too wide and I'm too impatient to figure out how to fix it. So I'm just going to add more hair and pretend like there's hair coming out of the turtleneck, which I think, again, is another great creative decision by me. I mean, I didn't even really mean to make it. I was kind of just trying to fix a mistake, but I like where it's going. I think I did something quirky, which is creative. I'm very creative. Okay, also the eyes are kind of creeping me out a little bit just being white, so as you can tell, I've decided to add some of the dark parts of the eyes, whatever those things are called. I'm an artist, not a optometrist. I also feel like I lost some of that brightness that I wanted under the eyes. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of it back in. Add those highlights and blendy, 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 blendy. You know how I feel about blending. It's my favorite till I get carpal tunnel. Okay, now is the point in the painting process where I realized that I did my lighting kind of coming in from the front. As you can tell from the bridge of the nose, there's shadows on equal sides. And I've decided, no, we're not going to do that, because I read somewhere once that when you do portraits that you should only have like one eye. If that makes any sense. It really doesn't, but it does. Like in real life, we only focus on one person's eye at a time. So it's kind of the same thing in a painting. So it's better to have one eye as a feature than having two eyes to look back and forth with, because it helps your eye settle in one place, and that makes the painting more funsies. And by funsies, I mean relaxing, or for the painting to have more of a focal point as opposed to like several focal points. Anyways, I don't really know. It was a long time ago that I read that. But I'm thinking about it now, and so I'm going to put the right side of the face into shadow. Anyways, that also means that I have to kind of get rid of the shadows on the left side, lighten those bad boys up. So now to let that layer dry before I can do another one, I'm realizing that I don't particularly love the background. I thought I was going to keep the background, a fun purpley pinky thing, but I don't love it. And I feel like she's getting lost in it. Like it's dark on dark, you know? Like she's not standing out from the background. You know what I'm saying? So here we go with some light pink, which I obviously just made from the red I'm using and some white. So again, it's still kind of cohesive. It's technically the same color, just lighter. And look at it. I think it's working. I feel like she's standing out from the background now. Now I'm looking more at her, the eye, what we're trying to get you to look at here, I guess, and not everything else, like the weird background that she's getting lost in, which is all great. It's coming together. Speaking of coming together, let's turn this bad boy around and come back to this shadow that we're creating over the black eye layer. We're going to go in and add some of that purpley color that we made from our red and blue, because we don't want her to look like she has a black eye. We want her to look like she's in shadow. And another thing that I read that artists are supposed to do is to look at their paintings from many angles. So I'm giving you the opportunity to have an artist's eye by giving you some different angles and seeing different things about the painting as it moves. So from this angle particularly, I'm hoping that you see what I see, which is that this painting is a little wonky. But that's fine, because all my paintings are a little wonky. And you know what you do when your paintings are all wonky? You say, oh, that's my art style. And then it's accepted by everyone. So I love that. Anyways, I'm just focusing on painting shadows to this side of the face over here. And the turtleneck. And the eye. So really just anywhere I think a shadow should be. I'm just trying to darken up some of those places. Okay, also this is the point in the painting where I don't hate it anymore. I have been told by many artists that it is common to hate everything that you paint, which makes me feel so good, because that is definitely the case for me. I don't like anything that I paint. I just paint it for the fun, for the process, and just painting bangs because I wish I had bangs. But at least there is a point in my painting process that I usually look at it and go, oh, you know what? At least I don't hate it anymore. It kind of looks like what I kind of had in my head. Not that I really had anything crazy going on in my head. I usually am just like, what if I paint someone with something? And bangs. It's really not the most detailed, planned out process going on up there in my brain. So I'm happy that I finally reached the point with this, that I made enough decisions at some point where I was like, you know what? This does look like something. Which is really just a nice bonus for me in this whole painting experience. Because like I said, I paint for the process of how it feels, but to not actually hate when I'm painting, hooray. Okay, let's do another angle. What do you see this time? Does it look any better than it did in the last angle? Also, can you see that on the eye, instead of her having a black eye, I have now given her pink eye. So we're going to have to fix that. But first, we have to wait for it to dry. So in the meantime, I'm going to add some of this pink to the hair, as you see, on the left side. And this is for the purpose of trying to add some highlight to the left side, and then I'm going to add some dark, some shadow to the right side. I should really do this better, or with like lighter blue on the left side, and then like the dark purple on the right side. But this just seemed like more fun to me. Like, what if I just added some pink strokes, just a couple, and keep them nice and thick, which as you see I did, and then just add another layer of blue on the right side, which is going to darken it up, and we'll call it a day. And funny enough, once I stopped here, I was like, you know what? I really am going to stop here. I was going to force myself to do more to the hair, to my beautiful bangs, but I kind of like it. And by like it, I mean don't hate it. Let's not get too cocky here. Okay, speaking of cocky, can I just say this has been really fun? I feel like an artist with my little painterly style and making some decisions along the way that got me somewhere, you know? And in the process, I gave you a lot of angles to look at. You judged my painting. I mean, do you feel like an artist? I feel like this video is a little bit of both of us pretending we're artists. You probably are one, though, if you're watching this and telling yourself, wow, I am so much better than this. So you're welcome. You're welcome for that confidence boost. But really, you should just judge your own art, you know? Only compare your art to your journey. Don't compare it to me. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, compare, copy. Feel a lot better that you can do it better. Speaking of doing it better, this is me just not being patient enough for her pink eye to dry, and so I'm adding some blue so it's not so pink and infected. Anyways, I just wanted to say thank you for coming along and watching me make some decisions and a lot of mistakes and try to fix them, probably in the most lazy way that you've ever seen. But I had fun, and I hope you did too. And hopefully you come back and we can do it again. Oh, and one last thing, you might be wondering, how long did this take me in real life? Well, it took me 2 episodes of the show I was watching, so. Okay, bye. See you later. I would say tomorrow, but you never know.